Hi, this is Karin Davidson at howtotap.com, and I'm going to be reading from the book The Key to Self-Liberation by Christiane Beerlandt, and we're going to be doing Heartburn. And this is very interesting because heartburn is found in both children and adults, and so it's divided into two parts. And what I'll do is in the description I will put what the time code is once I'm done as to when the other one starts. So I think though before you just jump to the children if you want to, or just stop after you've heard the first one, that both of them together really give you a better understanding of what's going on. Also, when she writes in normal writing and regular type, and then she does something in italics to differentiate between the manifestation of the causes of the manifestation of the heartburn is in regular type, and then what she believes is the solution and how you can work on it is in italics. So I will differentiate between that in the first part of the paragraph because she jumps around a little bit with that. So this is going to be about heartburn and gastroesophageal reflux. Swept along from here to there, full of foaming energies, full of primal female creative forces, but overpowered by them. These creative forces can manifest themselves in the urge to do something, to create, to come to creativity, a kind of being overpowered by massive energies, where it's best to do something with them as soon as possible. And this is the italics, not in desiring, wanting to grasp, wanting to fill oneself with all kinds of things or people, but in an active and creative self-development. And we go back to normal text. An urge for pleasure, strong desire, is the result when a human being cannot yet completely experience and realize his or her fullness. Being overwhelmed by these energies, by this current of water, can only happen as long as the human being can't go forward in life as master and be his own leader. And this is italics, doing what he feels he has to do under the guidance of the heart, not under the pressure from instinctive or desiring urges. And back to normal text. For young and old, therefore, it's of the utmost importance to do something creative with the determining forces in one's own being, directing oneself in goodness, transforming instincts and desires into creativity and love, not grasping and drowning in, but giving and doing. A lesson that a baby has to learn at a very young age, a lesson mentors or adults should master. Don't let yourself become whipped up by desires and the urge for pleasure, but enjoy life while creating in self-realization, staying in the here and now. Don't run ahead of things, but intently stay within yourself and allow yourself to be that which wants you to be in you. Don't fill yourself, but allow your talents to blossom without desire, without forcing anything. Give guidance to your healthy, primal female creative energies, which are burning to be allowed to create, to give. Don't long to possess, draw in, attract, submerge in pleasure, but do what life in you asks from you, and enjoy fully the being, the becoming, who you are, step by step, without impatience. Don't long to have or do too much at once, neither in your feelings nor with your thinking, which might fixate itself on certain goals. But turn the energies inside out, as it were. Bring yourself to realization in a constructive way. The animal aspect conquered, the human aspect takes shape. And now we'll go into the second part. Are you ashamed of the energies that are inside you? Do you feel longing energies in your lower abdomen? Are the female creative forces foaming in your abdomen, and do you not know what to do with them? You experience this as if you are being stirred up in the surf, as if you are being thrown here and there by swirling water, like someone insignificant. You don't really know if it's good what you feel, whether this is about normal foaming energies and feelings or about sexual longings. Know then that it's your body that asks for a kind of rebirth, and at the same time for a complete application of all the primal forces that are inside you. Don't be ashamed of those fiery creative forces. They are manifesting themselves, but handle them in the right way. Experience the enjoyment in and about yourself as something sound and good. This can only happen if, at the same time, you open yourself in love toward your total self, when you live in goodness towards others. On top of that, your body, your total being asks you to become yourself in an active, vigorous, creative way. Don't fill yourself with things, with others. Don't withdraw into a hiding place, nor abandon yourself to greedy filling. You can make yourself happy by using those creative forces in a constructive way, in the construction of your own being. Don't fixate on the lower regions, on the forces from the lower abdomen, but get them involved in the total life experience, in the creativity as well as in the experience of love with a possible partner. You attract this kind of signal so that you will look at the female primal energies that dwell inside you in order to lift them up to a higher level, to level of truth and love. Sexuality, for instance, is only beneficial where it exists in the function of love and creation. If, however, it only exists purely on an animalistic level of self-gratification, not under the mantle of love for oneself and in service for self-development, then it will have a burning effect on your body. Therefore, surrender to that which is highest in yourself. Break with the lower animalistic remnants in yourself. Dare to experience your body in the name of love, and don't be ashamed of it. Shame is the result of not being really convinced that you live and exist and act in love, but are still on a level of desire of an animal, of drawing in and being drawn in. Therefore, solve the deepest problem by tuning into the higher, generous love, and then you will feel happy and allowing the creative forces to flow freely. Then you can truly bear beautiful fruits. Then you can become the creative person you actually already are. The potential of primal creative forces inside you is very great, but you don't stand enough at the rudder of the ship, so that you are being thrown back and forth by that mass of primal female energies, possibly at the mercy of pleasure, emotions, ambition, desires, urging thoughts or instincts. Now stand at the head of your life, and be conscious of the fact that you are master over your energies, that you have the right to guide and direct these forces to a higher loving, giving level. Live in the present moment. Don't live in thoughts about the future. In babies, this also indicates there's a mass of fundamental female creative energy that can immediately manifest themselves in action and creativity, an instinctive desire urging sometimes to give itself pleasure, also wanting to grasp with its little head. In their feelings, thoughts, it's all not happening fast enough. Regarding the parents, it's good that they read the text above, because there's always reasons whenever one attracts a baby. Like a mirror, this mirror wants to make something clear. Allow the child to enjoy itself. When it's hungry, make sure it gets enough food. Also solid food, so that already on this level a kind of healthy psychological balance is being achieved. Don't put it on a diet. Moreover, everything will go much better once the child becomes active, can walk, can actively interact with things, build houses with blocks, sing, make music, and so on. When it begins to realize it should not grasp for things, should not fill itself with things in an animalistic desire, but can grow up in love while truly creating. It is good from the start to give the child, the growing baby, the nourishment it needs, and not deny it anything on the basis of so-called rational health rules. The child may quickly become aware. It may tune in to its heart, to its being, to the actively being itself, that it shouldn't turn to the lower animal level, nor has to hold itself in regarding creative safety valves. It will ultimately feel that it can apply its energies in a masterful way without having to be lived by them. If it then is no longer being stirred up by wanting to have, achieve, by, be it unconsciously flowing, thoughts, by whirling instincts or energies, it is at the rudder of its ship, actively stepping outward, creative, expressive, and doesn't store anything up inside itself, so that energy can flow freely while still being directed and contribute in this way to a fruitful, creative existence. Desires make way for an active, dynamic existence, full of love. And this, of course, also goes for the mentors, the adults, who are an example for the child in this. Becoming a human being in the fullest sense of the word asks for masterful guidance of energy, for a transformation of instinct into consciousness of desire, into love power. Only in this way will the human being no longer fill himself or draw in an urge for pleasure. He breaks through this phase in dependence on the primal womb, no longer clamps onto it with lust, but begins to search for true happiness, which has nothing to do with the original instinctive urge for pleasure. He now feeds himself in love and eats what he likes. He becomes himself strongly and consciously. He gives and no longer desires. He fully enjoys his life in a new way. The animal is gone, the human being is born, powerfully creating, producing, proud of his I am, and no longer curled up in self-gratification, chained to the primal womb, but openly radiating like a magnificent sunflower. He truly radiates outward. He feels wonderful in this abundantly giving, in this creating outward, no longer locked up in the tunnel of his pleasure-intoxicated animal behavior. He is actively creating and happy to go about his radiating I power. He goes onward. Nothing overwhelms him anymore. He has both reins of his life in his hand and leads his life in love with resolution and awareness.